Hi, welcome to this practice I call Find the Joy in It. This sequence was put together with the intention of inviting us to try to find the layers of enjoyment, joy, in the midst of challenge. A reminder, perhaps, that there are bits of joy and gratitude that we can find even when we're moving through difficulty or challenge. Potentially, especially when we're moving through difficulty and challenge. My invitation to you is to take any adaptation or any way of translating what we do here and make it yours so that it feels good, so that you can find some joy in it. We're going to sit up really nice and tall to begin, and I would love you to find a seat that feels true and right to you, both in your back, in your hips, in your shoulders, and then close down your eyes and welcome yourself to draw awareness onto the movement of your breath. Connect with how it is that your breath smoothly cruises in and out of your body. Allow a mindful deepening of your breath to occur in a way that it feels nourishing, in a way that it feels cleansing, in a way that it feels joyful without having to be ambitious or over-controlling of how it is that the breath might move in and out. The good news is your body will breathe whether you're participating with the breath or not. And so since we'll enjoy a few more rounds of consciously watching breath come in and out and really becoming a player in how it is that we can sculpt the breath, invite it to move in a way that it feels really good to you, joyful. You can choose to keep your hands rested on your lap, or if it speaks to you, fold your hands over your body, one on your belly and one on your chest. And consider making a really simple intention for yourself that you will move through this practice and maybe the remainder of this day or this week with a commitment to try to uncover the simplicity of joy. When your exhale comes, release your fingers down to the floor. Your eyes can be open or closed. I'm going to leave that to you. Walk fingers as far away from your hips as feels comfortable, and let your chin fall very softly toward your chest. Release the muscles of your upper back by very gently shrugging your shoulders down. Take an extra breath here, head hanging simply forward. And then slow and steady, use an inhale and tip and roll your right ear over toward your right shoulder and pause. And you might find that the arms are exactly where they should be, or you should walk your fingertips a little further away. Wait for your exhale and roll your chin down through the center of your chest, and then tip left ear over toward left shoulder and pause. From this space, I'm going to invite you to move side to side, and I would love it to feel good. So in my body, I like to inhale and roll in one direction. Exhale, come back through center, roll all the way back to the far side. That might feel entirely too quick for you, or you might even feel like it's too segmented, and what you really want to do is take a whole head circle. So if it feels good, go ahead and roll all the way around to the back. And if that isn't joyful and it doesn't feel right, skip it. Just keep some containment around this front plane and allow the movement of your body and the movement of your breath to become united in partnership. We'll take two more. When your chin finds its way back into the center of the chest, leave it there. Inhale to pick up the crown of your head and your shoulders too. and then exhale, drop them back and down. Fingertips will walk away from your hips again. We're going to keep right fingertips grounded. With an inhale, peel up your left arm. When your exhale comes, tip a bit over to the right, opening this whole left rib cage. As you inhale, come all the way back up through center, release your fingertips and change. Inhale to sweep up, exhale to tip over. Inhale to elevate and exhale to tip, except if it would feel good to you, I would invite you to consider closing your eyes and just find the joyful way that your body wants to move. So some of us find that the movement of the breath and the movement of the body have their own language, your own intuitive way of doing this. You might find it feels really good to spin circles around to the front. You might want to keep both arms in a long alignment, like they are a nice long open T. You might find that it feels really good to take big flexy bends into your elbows and your wrists. Really just allow this to be yours for a few more breaths. Find the joy in it. Good. When you find your way all the way back up to center, take a little pause. We're going to come over to hands and knees, however it is that makes sense to you. Take a wide spread of your fingers as you stand your hands down into the mat. And when your inhale comes, simple cow pose, drop your belly, roll your chest open. And then when you exhale, push the floor away and around. One more like this. Inhale, drop the belly, open the space of your chest and your collars. Exhale, round. And either stay with this or shape shift it into something that begins to start to barrel roll and wiggle around and explore. We have 3 more breaths to just move however it is that the animal of our body would like to move. When your inhale comes next, align yourself into center. Walk your hands a little in front of your shoulders, and with a wide, mindful spread of your fingers, tuck your toes and lift your bum back really nice and high into a downward facing dog. Press through the inner knuckles of your hands, lift your tailbone nice and high, and decide in your body how it is that you want to unpack this pose. So maybe that's with pedaling of the legs. Maybe that's a big wag of your tail. You might find that hips need to sweep, or you might even keep both knees bent as you really just work on lengthening through your shoulders and your upper back. Again, make it yours for one more huge breath. When your exhale comes, please lay your knees back down to the floor. Your hands are going to stay grounded under your shoulders, and when your inhale comes, you're going to squeeze your right leg high behind you. I would love if your right leg came straight out of your hip, so not lifted well above, but in alignment with your hip and your back body. Squeeze the muscles of your leg so you can point the toe or flex the foot or split the difference between the two. And as you pull your femur bone into the hip socket, charge some energy up into the front of your belly so your belly stays contained and lifted, and then beam your chest and the crown of the head forward. So don't look down, look forward. Take one more big breath. Great. When your exhale comes, bring your knee back to the earth. Make sure that you maintain that wide spread of your fingers and do the same thing, lifting left leg this time. Charging up the muscle of the left leg by pointing or flexing or splitting the difference. Squeeze the muscle onto the bone and then pull that all the way up through every inch of the body. So belly's lifting, chest is pulling forward, shoulders draw back from the ears. Last breath. Great. Exhale, bring your knee down to the earth. Walk your hands in front of your shoulders again. Tuck your toes under. Let's lift back up to a down dog. One clear breath here. Good. Look toward your hands and use an exhale to walk or to step to the top of the mat. When your feet are even beneath you, inhale your chest up halfway. And then exhale, release and fold. Arms to the sky with a big sweep. And then exhale your hands through your heart. Release your fingertips down to the sides. Take a moment to just stand into the true alignment of your mountain pose, feeling the grounding of your feet, the lifting of your chest, the pull of the crown of your head. And remind yourself how great it can feel to be in a space where you feel alive and aligned, where you feel active and bright. Joy is hidden in the tiniest of places, and might we give ourselves the permission to uncover them? When your inhale comes, sweep high. When your exhale comes, take a sweet dive down and fold. Halfway up with an inhale, heart pulls forward. Exhale, simple fold to let that go. Bend knees, plant hands, step back to plank. Knees can be lifted or lowered. When your exhale comes, please come down with control. Cobra pose or up dog with an inhale. Downward facing dog with an exhale. One breath here, all the way in and out. And the next exhale, look to your hands and walk or step to the top. When your feet are even, inhale your chest up halfway. And then exhale, release and fold. Arms to the sky with an in-breath. Hands through the center of our heart. One more like this. Please stay in the rhythm of your breath. Inhale to lift high. Exhale to take a smooth dive down, forward fold. Half extension with an inhale. Exhale again to release and fold. Fingertips, hands find the mat, feet step back. Strengthen the legs and the belly. Knees can be lifted or lowered. Come down with control. Cobra pose or up dog. Roll your chest open. Downward facing dog, take your hips back. Again, a wide spread of the fingers, a lengthening of our hips back behind. Look forward to your hands and walk or step to the top. When feet are even, inhale your chest up halfway. And then dive down to release this and fold. Arms to the sky with a slow inhale. Exhale your hands through your center. Good, we'll find change. Inhale to lift high. And then exhale, take a slow dive down, forward fold. Halfway up with an inhale, reaching length through your spine. Exhale, release this. Let your hands support you as your right foot steps back. We're going to try to keep the back heel lifted. So there's some strength in this back leg, a grounding of the front foot. And you're going to reach up nice and slow to high lunge. Shoulders are lifting and balancing right up out of the hips. Pull the belly in. Lift some strength up through your sides. Beam energy all the way up to your fingertips. And when your exhale comes, your hands are going to come back down to the mat, and you're going to try to push into the mat with your hands enough you can curl your left knee in beneath you and send this leg up into the sky behind you, three-legged dog. When your exhale comes, lower your left toes beside your right, regular down dog. Might be a great moment to chill out in a child's pose for yourself and find the joy in a couple of moments of deep breath. Stillness here in dog pose, pedaling around or exploring. Or inhale forward to a plank to find some strength. And exhale, release with control. Cobra pose or up dog rolls the chest open. And then downward facing dog takes us back. Again, wide spread of the hands, big tip of the tail. When your inhale comes, right leg lifts high. When your exhale comes, right foot all the way up to your hands. And we're going to pivot the back heel for a warrior one. When your back heel is down at about a 45 angle degree, lift yourself up through center. So hips and heart roll toward the front edge of the mat. And if it feels steady, fingertips are going to reach to the sky. From here, you're going to touch your palms together, bend your elbows until forearms can come to touch. Keeping the forearms touching completely, you're going to tip your hands forward until you start to feel some action along the top of your shoulder cup. Take one more nice big breath here. Pull your belly up and in for support. When your exhale comes, both hands come down to touch the earth. Transfer your weight forward into your right foot and lift your left leg straight up out of your hip behind you. Now you're going to want to readjust your fingertips so they're right under your shoulders. Pull some strength from your standing leg up into your belly and squeeze the muscles of your left leg onto the bone. When you're steady enough, consider lifting one arm at a time out toward the sides. Variation airplane warrior 3. Just like the firebird, pull up through the belly and beam out in both opposite directions. And then inhale to come to stand and step down with control. Other side, sweep high, inhale. Forward fold to bow, exhale. Halfway up, in breath. And then a super simple fold. Fingertips to support you, left foot back. The heel stays lifted, knee stays lifted, the leg is strong. And with an inhale, lift your shoulders straight up out of your hips. Trust the foundation of your front foot to lift your shoulders straight up from the space of your pelvis. From your hips to your fingertips, stretch high. And clear one more breath. When your exhale comes, both hands come down to frame your front foot, and you're going to curl this knee in beneath you and shoot the right leg into the sky, three-legged dog. Lower the toes with an exhale, regular down dog. Child's pose is yours, as is stillness here. Or pick up some energy with the vinyasa. Inhale forward to a plank. Exhale, release with control. Cobra pose or up dog, please use strong legs. Downward facing dog will take it back. When your inhale comes, left leg lifts high. When your exhale comes, left foot through to your hands, back heels turning for a warrior one. When your heel is plugged, sweep up through center, hips and heart roll forward. When you feel the adjustment of your feet and the hips aligning, touch palms overhead, bend your elbows, bring your forearms to touch. And so in this opening variation of our eagle prep, we do still want to feel this space of the top of our shoulders. Tip your arms and forearms forward. Breathe here one more. When your exhale comes, hands come down to touch the earth. Transfer your weight into your left foot and squeeze your right leg straight up out of your hip. So it's as though we're trying to get the body in a T-bar shape. Pick up the belly, drag the chest forward. And when you feel steady, maybe open your arms wide in a variation of our airplane warrior 3. One more huge breath. Inhale to stand up tall. And exhale to step it back down. Align through your feet. Let the feet balance right under your hips. Stand tall through the crown of the head. Soften your shoulders down. And if you're steady, go ahead and close your eyes. If you feel like a moment to find the steadiness, just stare at something on the floor that doesn't move and honor the movement of your breath. What an incredible privilege it is to just be alive in these capable bodies. Feel the joy in that for one more. And then crack your eyes open and have it propel you through one more sequence. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, slow dive. Halfway up with an in-breath. And then fold. Let your fingertips support you. Right foot steps back. Let's bring our knee down. Steady through your front foot. Sweep up really nice and high. Really find this central lift. So this really purposeful lift of the front of the pubic bone to the belly button that really requires the inner deep core to hold and support the seat of the pelvis. Keep that, and if you want a little bit more heat, tuck the back toe under and squeeze and lift this back leg, and you'll really feel the power and energy lifting this up off the mat. One more huge breath. When your exhale comes, hands come down to touch the floor. Squeeze your front leg towards straight. Just get some length out of the back of the left leg. You could definitely use blocks under your fingers. Then with your next exhale, we're going to rebend the front knee, plant hands to the floor, and same thing, curl the knee in beneath our chest. So we're lifting high on the back toe, lifting high with the hips, and then shooting this left leg into the sky behind us. So many choices. Lower the toes, stay in down dog, find a child's pose to just reclaim your breath, or play with a bit of energy, press forward to a three-legged plank. Left toes can come down at any moment, and exhale, come down with control. Cobra pose or up dog opens the chest. Downward facing dog takes us back. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot through to your hands. Warrior one like we've done before. So back heel turns down into a plugging 45 angle degree or so. Lift yourself forward and up. Sitting into the work of our hips in warrior one, so the internal roll of the back leg, and you could come to where we did before, hands press and forearms press, or potentially left elbow will wrap under right until fingertips or hands can come into a bind. From here, transfer your weight forward like we did last time into your right foot and see if you can take off quite upright with our eagle arm wrap. Squeeze some strength through your left leg and hinge through your hip crease. So we're finding an eagle variation of our warrior 3. Strength through the left leg, lift through the belly. And then you're going to try to pull yourself all the way up and cross the left leg over right, full eagle pose. Some of us will wrap our left toes to the outer edge of the right calf. Some of us are going to sit down and find a little depth. One more huge breath. Good. Try to stand on your right foot with an inhale, spread everything out wide. And with an exhale, step it down. Feels good to be alive. Feet even beneath your hips. Wait for your in-breath, sweep up high. Wait for your exhale, take a slow dive, forward fold. Halfway up with an inhale. Let this go. Fingertips to support you, left foot back. Bring your knee down to the floor. Steady through your front foot, sweeping all the way up. Pull some strength again from this left leg into your belly. And then if you want a little spice, tuck the back toe under and squeeze this back leg up off the mat. Again, one more breath, lifting through your sides. When your exhale comes, both hands come down to frame your front foot, and for just a couple of breaths, squeeze the front leg towards straight. Scissor inner thighs toward one another and lengthen low spine. Last breath. When your exhale comes, a bend through your front knee, a plug of your hands, you're going to curl your right knee in beneath your belly and shoot this leg high up to the sky. Child's pose might be the most joyful thing, or regular downward dog. You can take a vinyasa, or you can press forward on your left toe and exhale through a three-legged plank, cobra pose or up dog, and then downward facing dog, we draw back. Left leg sweeps high. Left foot through to our hands, and we'll pivot back foot down for warrior one. When you're steady, sweeping all the way up and open, settling into the security of the hips. Palms press overhead, bend your elbows until forearms come to touch. For some of us, this is plenty. Eagle bind really feels awkward and not joyful. Or if you like, wrap right elbow under left. Find your full Garandasana arms. Lift up through the space of your belly. And then transfer weight forward of your left foot and pull to a variation of Eagle Warrior 3. Pull your belly up, squeeze your right leg, and then see about crossing right over left, variation eagle. Maybe or maybe not there's a tuck of your toe. Maybe or maybe not we're sitting into the strength. Remember to tip your hands forward. Inhale to stand up, try to open everything wide. And exhale, step down. I'm going to invite you to widen your feet and give a sway of your upper body. And just let your breath kind of slow down a little bit. Long and even and full breaths. Friends who have in any way had any injury to neck or shoulders tend to carry a lot of tension there. I would invite you to just stay with this visualized empty coat sleeve sway. Friends who might like to come with me through a few cleansing breaths of joy will slow your sway down and come back to center. We're going to take 3 rounds of this. You're welcome to watch the first one entirely if you're unsure. It's going to be 3 deep successive inhales and a very cleansing through the center folded exhale. It looks like this. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Bend your knees and fold, exhale. And then roll up. Settle. 2 more. Inhale, 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 exhale. And then roll up. Release your shoulders. 1 more. Inhale, 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 exhale. And then roll up. Release your shoulders. Walk your feet back to a place their outer hip distance, regardless of what you chose. A much slower inhale. And a very soulful, releasing exhale, forward fold. Release your head. Soften your shoulders. Fill your low back with a big breath in and out. 1 more like that. Make sure your knees are bent enough you can touch the floor and lower through a seat, how that makes sense to you. Make sure you have lots of room when you get here behind you. And we're going to start by bending over to our right side and kicking both feet over to the left. Left knee is going to come to nest up to the bottom of right foot. And you might decide that you're going to hold your right fingertips to the side to support this. We're going to try to uncover a little bit of feeling and sensation into the hips. So this is a loving way to just start to open the hips. And if you're feeling it already, you know you are. So welcome yourself to stay. If you'd like, you can kick this left foot further back behind. This starts to give a slow, joyful opening to the front of the left hip flexor. If you'd like to come into a slightly deeper space, you can bring your fingertips out onto the floor in front of you. This starts to softly tuck our right sit bone in beneath us, brings a little bit more pressure to the outer edge of the right hip. If you were in a body that you think, Chelsea, let's just turn over and find pigeon. That's what I find joy in. Go for it. You know all the stages. You can tuck the back toe under, slide your shin a bit toward the right edge of the mat. I would love if your right knee was quite far to the right. And you can welcome yourself to dive in for just a couple of breaths. Sometimes uncovering joy in any bit of life or practice is just reminding ourselves the abundance of choice that we do have, even when at times that feels so limited. And breathing into our edges for 2 more here. Back up onto our hands slowly. Sit off toward your right bum and sweep both knees all the way around to the far side. So we'll pivot over toward our left hip and take the whole journey where right knee comes to nest toward left foot. Left fingertips might support us. You might kick it a little further open, or you might use your hands to adjust your sit bone a bit more beneath you so you can reach out in front. Or you might even decide to turn and climb the whole thing over to a variation of your pigeon. I'm going to leave that to you. Big full body breath to settle into the space that it is that we choose. Really allowing the movement of our breath, the attention of our mind to reside in this place. Noticing anything that you're finding in the body and making sure that it is completely sustainable. So at this point of the practice is not when we want to start to change things over to aggression. Final big breath. Then walking up onto hands if you've lowered in any way, leaning back toward the left and sweeping your feet around to the front. Feet step wide. Hands will support you behind your back. You're just going to take a couple of very sweet, slow, swishing sways of knees in a windshield wiper. And then make sure you have plenty of room behind you. Lower down all the way onto your back. And when you get here, it might feel really nice and sweet to stretch legs long down the mat, maybe arms even all the way up overhead. And when your exhale comes, hug your knees in towards you. It can be very soft, or it can be quite a tight squeeze. If your body is interested in rocking or rolling or swaying, please do. We're going to bring our hands back behind our thigh bones, kick and stretch soles of the feet to the sky. What I would love is if the space of your low back, the muscles that hold your low back, push into the floor. Drink in 2 more big breaths here. When your exhale comes, rebend your knees, and as your feet touch the floor, send your arms open wide. Drop both your knees over toward the left. And for just 3 breaths, we're going to allow the entire weight of our body to become dense and heavy. Allow gravity to drink us in completely. 1 more. Inhale up through center and both knees over to the right. One more huge breath here. Inhale picks you back up through center. Rebalance the hips under your shoulders. Hug your knees in towards you one more time. And the next time you exhale, release your feet to the floor. And you could either choose to keep feet grounded to the floor with knees supported on one another, or kick feet all the way long down the mat for the shape of our Savasana relaxation. Let your hands fall where they're comfortable onto your body or draped off to the sides. Attempt to soften all of your spaces, all of your places. And find the gentle, joyful release that can come from really letting the weight of you be held by this mat, as though you could allow the vibrancy that you inspire and create through movement, through intention, to sink through your body toward the mat. Clear one more powerful breath and decide if there's anything that you're looking to release. And then enjoy a simple moment just to be in your own space with nothing more to do than feel out what it is to be. Clear a big breath from the very base of your lungs. Consider joining me in folding your hands over your body, putting one on your belly and one on your heart. Remind yourself of one or two of the simplest little things that you know bring joy to your day, to your life, to your time. And coming off the mat, commit to seeing if you can reinfuse any bit of your day and your life with those things. Reminding ourselves that even in times of challenge, and potentially especially in times of challenge, finding the joy is of paramount importance. The light that burns within me recognizes and deeply bows to that same light that burns within you. I thank you for sharing this practice with me. Namaste.